You know what my favorite tea is? It's in the. I mean, that's pretty good. But I was also gonna say it's all right. I was gonna say in the Boston Harbor where it belongs. USA, USA. I'm kidding. I love tea. Welcome, everyone. It's time for a brand new year here at the Goose House. Honk, honk your way into some fantastic skirmishes. I'm Hail Monkey Man in the booth alongside the fantastic, the fiesta, the party man himself. It is Nerd's Corner. It's not a circle. It is a square or anything else that has some sort of side. But you guys are choosing the side of the Goose House as we're going to get into their first of 2023 Monday Skirmish lineup. Nerd's Corner. I know that you're drinking down some tea, but how's everything going over there, man?
It is going fantastic. I'm excited to get into 2023. I mean, the Goose House, we've seen some crazy games in the past year, but hey, you know, we take all of the past, we leave it back in 2022, we come into 2023, better aim, better brain, and better games for everyone. As I mean, it's Valorant, right? So the new patches, new things are coming out, but this is I think the day before the new map Lotus, the day before the new patch. So we get one last hurrah of everything at the beginning of 2023.
Yeah, this is going to be the last time that you get to see, I guess, the normalcy, because there's going to be all the different changes. You guys have seen some of the previews, some of the hints, the tricks, the coolness that went on to Lotus. That is not what you're going to be seeing today, as there is at least a couple days. I think it may even go live on Thursday. I don't know if it's going to go live patch day, which is usually Tuesdays, or if it's going to go live Thursday. But it's another 3-site map. I need to know, before we get into our semifinals for the skirmish tonight, how do you feel about having another 3-site map to have to deal with in the rotation?
I like it a lot, mainly because Haven being such a... I know some people that really don't like Haven because of the 3 sites, and they just they tend to ban it if they can. And then some people that really enjoy it. It is a more basic map. Got verticality, you got long angles. I mean, so it's got a little mix of both. It feels kind of like Breeze and Ascent had a child. But having another 3-site map, it's going to change up the pace of the game. People are going to hopefully feel a little bit more refreshed because now you have Haven and Lotus to kind of balance out the feel of the map pool. And they're also changing Split, I believe. They're adding in some changes to Split to make it less defender. I think it's defender sided. I think that Split, because of the corridors and the way the chokes are made, it is a lot more defender sided. So they're trying to open it up for attackers to be able to get in on site easier.
Yeah, it was definitely a 50-50, more of like a 70-30 for anyone that's attacking, trying to get it onto splits. And so they've made those a little bit softer. They took away half of the rafters in Heaven when you go to A side. They, in fact, added a second level because I guess inflation hit the Crown Cafe over there. They had to downsize for costs, and so they expanded that one for the attackers. So trying to really open up the corridors, maybe just make things a little bit more nuanced to get onto site. But you guys won't be seeing split into this first map. Instead, we're going to the time-old classic. It is Ascent, one of those two parents of Lotus. And, this is the quintessential. This is the map that we are going to probably start and die with when it comes to this game. This is the one that everyone knows, and we will, in fact, be in uppers today. So that's a bit of diamond and above, or platinum and above play. So, actually, is it platinum above? Diamond above? I don't know. It's somewhere in above.
It's high elo. It's high elo. High elo and high octane. I want I have a question for you. So Lotus, they have the rotating doors. Thoughts on that? I've seen a lot of content on it where people are just memeing and joking. But when it comes to more like competitive play, how do you think that will play out? Just out of curiosity.
So I love using each novelty of the maps, first off in its actual use, but then as a feint, because you open up the door and then that kind of allows both sides to kind of entry to also see, who's coming through. But you can also use that as all of a decoy. So now it's kind of there and available. And that's the same thing when you have door moving on to Fracture, because you have just below ropes and that same rafters as well. You just kind of hit the door, let it go through as util or otherwise. Same thing's been used for teleport. I love using the gimmick and the novelty of the map as complete just disarray. Create a little bit of just that mental chaos and gymnastics for your opponent to have to jump through.
That's interesting that you bring up bind and you bring up those teleports, because I know a lot of other co-casters and players who don't like bind because of that. It's the choke points plus the teleports, and having no mid causes a lot of people to get really frustrated at it. And then people always bring up Fracture as an example of another thing, but the chokes on Fracture are a lot less. I mean, I think they're a bit more forgiving and attack sided. And also on top of that, there is no mid, but there is no teleports as well for Fracture, which is why a lot of people don't like bind, right? You jump out of hookah, it's kind of hard. You try to push through B main. The chokes are just all designed kind of for or against you in some way, and it's dichotomous. Some people love it, some people hate it. But that's the thing. Ascent being the kind of cookie cutter map that we always look at, it's going like people love it. People are always going to go back to it. It's probably never going to get out of map rotation, and I mean, we're going to be able to see it right now.
Yeah, that's very true. We're going to be going into our first map of the day. And of course, the way that this works, if you are fresh and ready for the Goose House, we actually do a semifinal and then we do a final. It's all single elimination. It's all best of one, but you get to see 2 of all of the total matches that are going on. If you want to be able to get involved, make sure you also hit them up on Twitter. It's literally the Goose House. You'll see a giant goose and a hat. And if you don't like it, well, then shove it. It is so cool. And you can also check them out on Discord as well, where they have a massive community that like to compete to be able to do this every single week. And we are just waiting for a little bit because there are technical difficulties for our current players. And yeah, you had mentioned that we're probably never going to see Ascent drop out of rotation. Back. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
We're back.
Welcome back. Stream difficulties. Look, I already answered my own question. I just completely threatened the gods by saying, what if Ascent were not in rotation? And that's exactly what would happen. We would crash.
It would just all burn down.
It all just comes toppling down. So apparently Ascent will never fall out of rotation, or else literally the Valorant gods will smite us. But what to you, when it comes to Ascent, I mean, we get to see cool compositions. We've seen Chamber become maybe just like an old forgotten version of himself until people want to learn better. And it's more been the predecessor becomes a successor back to Jet. What really defines this map in terms of either particular agent comp or even just who can gain that advantage? Because it seems so 50-50 based on.
I think Ascent being such a stable is a factor of having those 3 really concise lanes, choke points that favor both attack and defense. And when you say 50-50, it's a map that when you look at it from a core standpoint, it is big enough that you can do big plays and that rotations matter. And it is small enough that you are not locked into going onto one specific site. It's a perfect blend of things that we see on a lot of good maps, right? We like Breeze because you kind of some people like Breeze, actually enjoy it because you kind of have to hit a site and the rotations really do matter. So when you fake or when you make a real rotation, it actually impacts the game tremendously. But same thing on Ascent. On Ascent, you can fake things out. It's a lot of hidden corners and areas, but it's also open enough, like in mid, to really take those long range fights. But also, you have the choke, like the A main choke. To get through there, you do kind of have to blast through, which is a core mechanic of Valorant, like the jet dash to really go from the beginning of the choke to generator to site. The Rain and dismiss is enough for you to get a kill and then go and dismiss from the A choke into the site. All of those distances that you have to close are part of the core mechanics for a duelist. Same thing with Sentinels. You can lock down a site really easily as a Sage, as a Chamber, as a Killjoy. It's really user friendly. But that's the thing. When things are user friendly, they also allow for high level players to take advantage of situations so much more than just what a user would have, or like just a basic player.
And that should be, well, I mean, because this is basically draft style when we do these skirmishes, that at least should be showcased a little bit today because we do an uppers and lowers rotation between our Monday skirmishes. So I am looking forward to seeing some of that. We do have the difference of initiators on the attacking half. You got the KO, you got the Sova. The Sova will stay as well on the defending half, but instead it's a combo of a Sage and a Killjoy. I've seen a lot of Sage, especially Battle Sage play coming up. And if you guys haven't seen the new cinematic, definitely go hit up, I guess, YouTube or or check it out or otherwise. It looked pretty sick.
Chills,
Omen,
bro. Chills down my spine.
Yeah. It was so cool.
Sorry to interrupt, but I just, it's chills down my spine. It reminds me so much of Arcane when I listen to the song. Like okay. Valorant, I predict this. There's either going to be a movie or a TV show like Arcane for Valorant in 2023 or 2024. If they do not, oh my goodness, I'll be so sad. I want there to be more lore. As a nerd, as I literally nerd squad, I love the lore. I love it so much. We see Battle Sage Omen coming in for the clutch, and the thing is, they even like at the end, I don't want to spoil if you haven't seen the ending of it, but they throw in a twist at the end.
Right.
Speaking of twists and turns, we already are starting to see going back and forth the Nanoswarm taking out Jamie.
Using a hard B hit. B's kind of that favored run up. You get to see how much you can defend into that corridor, but the archway is taken down as Wash check will do a fat check onto Bop, but that is the Killjoy and the two Sentinels that make swift work of it into this Pistolero round. So we go into round number 1, and of course, you win the
Chaotix, Gun Buddy.
No. Oh, I did not. Which one?
Immortal Gun Buddy.
Yeah, I mean,
Immortal again?
Hey, look. Wow. These are the higher ranks, man. These guys.
Wow. I mean, hey, I don't know about you, but oh man, I really want to make the joke to 22, but I want to. I think that's my New Year's resolution, is to try and hit a higher rank. Maybe not Immortal. I don't know. I play a lot of this game. I talk a lot about this game, but I don't think I'll be able to hit Immortal. But I'm Plat. Maybe Plat or Diamond. That's okay. I'm comfortable with that. Gold, like, you always got to dream big, so Diamond. But I think that if I can get Gold, then I can probably get Plat with enough time and effort. Diamond's just like the stretch, right? You know, like I'm reaching for the cookie jar up there, and Chaotic is getting caught out. He's getting caught with this cookie jar as he's trying to push up through mid.
Yeah, Chaotic was taking a quick peek. They were looking if anyone was going to stretch up into that corridor, but you do see a little bit of pressure in mid, and we were talking about big plays. They're grouping up together because the attack did not find success, but they found a couple as the classics are hitting just fine. Bop falls, they did earlier as well, and you do have one outside of Garden, but they've taken over marketplace control, and you're going to have that hit but in front of them, and Chaotic is down to 5 HP on this current look, and that'll be APOC that before their jet is hit will be able to get a fat snipe, but that is quick succession between those two Sentinels, and Blade then progresses forward to take out Chaotic.
And now it's a 1 versus 2 for Fail. They do not want to live up to their name currently. You have a Sentinel. Sentinel on defense is really good, but considering it's a 1 versus 2, you're going to have to play for retake on one site just because of the situation. You can't cover both sites. And this is exactly what we see happening here. With 10 seconds left, the plant is going to go down. Itachi jumping around, getting some protection. And at this point, I believe that they have a similar gun advantage. I'm going to say that because, you know, even if Fail had gun advantage at the beginning, they were able to pick up Spectres from the frags that they got. Now, Kowalski's really going to have to play things methodically. Blade peeking off of the chaos, knowing that Kowalski is just going to be running in onto the site. And that is going to be 1-1. And the game was still unsure. Hey, no one's taking an early lead. But that makes sense in the first 2 rounds. Usually people win the bonus round. And if you can get that eco, if you get that thrifty of sorts, and you can make it 1-1, it will... if you can have that 1-1 situation happen at the beginning, I kind of lost my train of thought there, you have a better chance of winning out in the game. If you can get that eco, even if you force up and you win, the person that wins on the second round, statistically and more of the time, most likely ends up winning that half.
I like to call it breaking the bank a little bit. It's not so much that you're poor or the other team is too poor, but it's you're definitely vying into them buying in the advantage. And then as soon as they are, you know, outright killed, then they've lost that advantage. So that means they're starter stepped for at least the next couple of rounds, because they'll have to go into a pure save, and then they'll have to catch up. presumably be off of an extended bonus, or it would be then on big rifles. So Team Blade right now has been able to at least cut the first couple in half. And I've seen a lot of Bucky play over the last couple of days because I saw it at MagFest, and there was so many Buckies. I want to see how hardcore the uppers ranks can be able to use these Buckies. And we're getting some big scans, and that's chaotic. This is going to be drilled down with a wall bang by Jamie.
Osmo able to make some space for them. I believe we saw Osmo. I thought I could have sworn I saw Osmo on a lower. I mean, I'm hoping that I think I saw him at a lower because he's going up with a 4K take out Itachi. I believe Osmo had his own team in the lowers at one point, and now he's up in the uppers, if I'm not mistaken. But it's good to see familiar faces, and regardless, it's good to see him in the uppers bracket because that's where he belongs. He's currently the top frag for their team.
Kowalski, status report. Well, he's dead, Jim. All right. Well, good to know. So we're going to be watching after Osmo a little bit going into these next. I mean, it's always good to see people going up in rank. You have, grandeur for, platinum and diamond. I think it'd be really neat to finally hit gold. That's about where I exist. Up and down in silver, man. It is. I pray. The worst. Yeah,
I pray for teammates that listen to my comms. I pray for
they don't even know what the comms mean. No, you make a call out. Oh my God! Like we learn call outs as casters, and then no one else knows those call outs.
A lot of the community call outs I feel like are interesting, like gelato pizza. I mean, I don't think that, like, if someone's in market, I love the community call outs, and some teams even have their own personalized call outs of like, all right, he's in this specific area. I remember someone saying on a scent doggy and octopus for there's a dog. Yeah, we see the dog right here where Kowalski is, right next to Catwalk, peeking at a tree to specify if someone's in that corner, specifically in the corner where the dog is on the graffiti. Bop. Ooh. Going to live up to their name. Same thing with Blade as they're trading things back and forth. It looks like, again, we see Kowalski in a 2-versus-1 against Itachi, but he evens things out while going up to hopefully stop him. I think he hears Blade. I'm assuming that he does, but he doesn't know if the spike is down or if Blade has the spike.
They were hoping maybe to trap the spike instantly behind that wall just to see if they could. But because of the fast footsteps, they have to be assuming that in some capacity that they did not accomplish that, or at least they're playing a little bit of cat and mouse. But the plant has occurred here on site A, and the assumption might be that Kowalski is coming in from heaven. But they have not currently adapted to that. They're going to actually go all the way into hell. This is going to be an immediate duel, and they will be not able to win it. Blade, the team's namesake, the captain of it, will finish with a 4K and going to bring this one to an even 2-2 venture through the first 4.
2-2. The game has kind of set. I think me and you have casted a game, I believe, for the Goose House already, where it was kind of stagnant 2-2-1-1, and I don't know if it was on Ascent. I believe it was on Ascent as well, but like Ascent, we were talking about how it is kind of 50-50. It is sort of a map where you can kind of thrive on both defense and offense with the right brain and aim combination. So it's not surprising that we see a lot of overtime matches on Ascent.
Man, and that's pretty much it. Yeah,
I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, I thought you had like a fall. Why? I was trying to add something like as to why that might happen, but I'm thinking it. I'm like thinking about these matches and the teams, how the teams have been playing out. It's gotten down to 2v1s, especially for Kowalski on the shorter end of that stake. It's attack has been pushing in really well, taking space where they needed to be. Defense kind of, I mean, they've been on the rounds that they've won, from what I remember, they were doing a good job of just playing defense. And I feel like if they're already starting to lose players for defense, maybe just playing for retake or kind of waiting it out, stagnating the game for a little bit just to see if they can get more info instead of being so aggressive. But hey, that also might mean that when they switch sides, they're going to be better on attack. So
That's very true. I mean, when we've been able to see them kind of not quite forcibly repel the immediate attack, when they've instead taken a step back, kind of absorb it and then surround it, then they've done so much better in winning that crossfire combat. Whereas in the opposite end of that, if it's kind of into the 1v2, maybe Kowalski finds that one good pick. They had the brain game to be able to maybe get that bomb, but it was in a different spot where Blade could still escape. And that was all of a dual difference of outside of a main. So I like what you're talking about, because to that same degree, you mentioned it before. Remember, with Ascent, it has that open mid and it has the two parameters to sight, and it's not of large size enough to be grave on the rotations versus something like Breeze, where when you go to a site, you may have one chance to either fake it or make it and go into that rotation, whereas you can do it 2 or 3 times on Ascent. Do you have a preference of like the full commit when it comes to that size of Breeze, or do you like it more of like, hey, you have these unstructured options, especially if you just kind of open up thoroughfares in mid?
I think that for Breeze, there are, I don't know if I have a favorite. I think there's two schools of thought, like you were saying. Take a really hard stance in a specific area, push through mid, A or B, or you kind of default, see where it goes, and then rotate all to that site and try and take it. But I would love to bring up another option. I do see teams really like in the first 20 seconds, because you get a minute and 30 to really do some damage.
Right.
They will, in the first 20 seconds, hard take a site. And if they see a lot of resistance, like the 4 players, then they'll instantly, like, as long as you're making quick decisions on hard take a site, fail, go and rotate to the next one, or rotate to mid, so you can kind of take mid control really quickly, so then you can catch the opponents on the rotate. That's where it kind of like comes into it. You can hard commit to a site and still rotate and still kind of push off of it, as long as you're making those decisions fast enough, precisely enough, and you're communicating with your team on how to make said decisions. Yeah. For me personally, and for most people, I recommend just doing a default, especially if you're kind of trying to figure out how your opponents play. I like doing like probably a 1-1-3 split, where it's like one person goes mid, one person goes A or B, and then the other 3 players go to the site that they're not going to. And the reason I say that specifically is because you can have someone like Chamber or Jet on the op near mid, you can have someone lurking on the other side, then you can have 3 players kind of playing with each other. You have the opper kind of posted up on a specific site or specific area of the map to really lock it down, especially on maps like Breeze and Haven. That kind of breakdown really makes sense. I honestly, when I think of Breeze, I think it kind of feels like there's a third site in and of itself in mid, because it's so big, it's so open.
It's such kind of a limbo. It's just it's your transport between sites. You win the battle there, and it's giving you a chance. And just like the same, I like the 4-1, where you get one really confident lurker that's just going to upend all the ideas. And then ultimately you either hit site and they join you, or they've got an open site for you based on the hard rotate. We will get at least the first kill onto the defense. If you're just now joining us, welcome. It was 2-2. It's now 3-3. The flash goes in. The KO tries to be able to open up some space, and Bop is going to hold this one from distance. They are not going to over-aggress, but this is succeeding some footsteps, and you already have Blade, who now is right around the corner. Are they ready for it, as Bob is able to get up to full HP as well as 19 armor, and they will ultimately win that trade and take down Blade. This is a defensive win so far, and it looks like it's a 4v1, all of the Omen remaining, and they are like a mouse in a trap.
You're kind of just hiding away. There's not much you can do. You're going to try and get some of those exit frags. They're on an eco. Yeah, they're on an eco. So they do not have as much money or utility to go up against them. They're going into this Valorant cycle where you're selling. You don't really have that much. So you're buying whatever you can, saving your money. And then this round you buy up full and try to fight against your opponents. Then you keep doing that over and over again. You try to break the cycle of the economy, and then hopefully win out. But with 2 rounds won in a row for defense just won 2 rounds in a row, attack won 2 rounds in a row, the defense is going to have to try and build up the economy more and more. It's not too far of a lead. Once you get 3 rounds in, I believe that's when you start to have the lead really show, especially if you can leave a lot of your opponents alive, We see the KO knife going in deep. The ego peek from Kowalski wins out against Jamie. The ego, I love the ego peek. Just say, hey, why not just go in there?
You've been alive the longest for several different rounds, and make use of that life instead of just kind of chilling around a corner and waiting for something that may never come. Oh, see the back of the ponytail of that Sova. Kowalski's gonna put down a wall, but it doesn't.
Giving him warning shots.
Yeah, just a little haircut, little off the tip, just enough. But it's gonna be fail. They do not fail to at least get one, but the trade does come through as APOC is able to jump onto the back of them. This is a 2v3. Numbers advantage over to the defenders, but a little bit of that mid activity did at least draw out one, but the wall has been able to give them some of that audible intel, that known intel, and of course the slow orb is there as well. Kowalski is such a daredevil with just going into these duels.
I really love how they were super spread out. B, mid, A for all three of the players for Team Fail. And again, fast decision making super important. They hear that Blade is pushing forward, and so they rotate off, make it a 2 versus 2. Bop being the duelist, the Reyna, you can always heal and dismiss out of there, just peeking everything super aggressively. I believe Bop also opened up a lot for them last round, the round before the one we just played 3 rounds ago. This one, boom, boom, boom. Caster math, caster brain. But they opened things up so well for them in mid, causing Team Blade some chaos and not a little bit of pressure that caused them to kind of split up a little bit. So they kind of didn't want to get into mid, avoiding mid because they knew Bop was there, kind of acting as like this little rock sentinel in a sense, but more specifically just this rock of chaos that you're too afraid to go near. It's just emanating this danger signal, like danger, 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 danger.
This
don't come
rock
near
of
me.
chaos. I love that.
you know, like, you know how people are always like, these rocks emanate energy. This is just the same thing, but for I mean, KO literally emits energy, but Reyna emits just fear. It's like spook. I don't want to be here.
I think she does. I think she does that in a very mommy-like way for some people, and they love it in a big way. You do have the operator in the hands of Osmo, not your typical agent synergy, as the Sova doesn't really get too much more from it, except to just go and tag someone and then maybe pop them from distance. You have 4 hanging out inside of tiles and 1 at A main trying to aggress from behind that box. Oh, can't quite make the swing. Osmo's swinging for the fences. They're about to get aggressed by 3 right in front of him.
Oh, he needs to run away. They're trying to use it. Get saved by Chaotic, who's going crazy here. I mean, hey, if you sacrifice Osmo for Chaotic's 3K, as long as they can pick up that operator to keep their momentum going, it works out. Itachi looking to catch someone off guard, but Kowalski, they're on the job. They know it. They understand stealing Chaotic's ace, but hey, it doesn't matter because they're able to win the round and give themselves a 3-round lead. I remember I was talking about 3-round leads. This is where the economy truly starts to stagnate for Team Blade because they're going into this cycle over and over again of buying, not buying, buying, not buying.
I mean, look at the ults, though. They're going to have full ults. That was their save round. And so that hopefully they can jump out of that kind of pit of misery, that cycle of servitude to the squad in Fail that has not really had to do that for too long. You have the last 4 in a row for Team Fail. This one feels like they're going to try and run up a little bit harder. You are going to get that wall down. That's a double brick break because it has to have 1 break at the archway. Actually, no, it didn't extend all the way archway. You instead have the null command. They're going to burst onto the side. The tailwind is going to bring them there as well. Blade will get dropped on the stairs, though, hit their head just like their parents did when they dropped them there. The revive and the bait, the right-click hero, Kowalski will hit the floor, and both defenders will fall on side A or side B.
Again, if Blade really just blasted through there, it's just insane. And once Fail, right, kind of fell apart, they didn't have anyone on site, they didn't have any defense, nothing was set up for them. It becomes so difficult to go up against such an aggressive play. And with Blade not being like, he didn't care if he risked his life or not because the res was on there for Sage. He was able to really be confident in the swings, confident in the plays. And again, I always talk about how confidence is super important in playing this game, just being able to swing and knowing, hey, my opponent might be here, I'm ready, I'm prepared mentally and physically, and then you just go for it and see what happens. And a lot of times people are too afraid to peek and afraid to enter. The 2 ultimates that went out, I think, was the null command and the res. 2 really good ultimates to kind of work together because you're basically you basically get 2 extra players when you're pushing onto a site super aggressively.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you don't want to be too afraid. You want to value your life as long as you're going to be able to get kills. So I've been playing a lot of Overwatch, and duelists in Valorant are akin to tanks, creating space, being able to move forward. Uh-oh, 5-man, it's a parade, and Bop has to run away. Then they've identified that the Bop Op is in play. Oh, they're going to be able to get a swing and a dismiss. They're going to go back into the garden. Ozmo's going to try and make this crossfire happen, but they will get through the door, and now the orbital strike will bomb through, but it doesn't find any values. They've already taken over A.
I think it was really good. They recognized Bop had an op, or at least he was pushing off. They now knew he has an op, so they took all that space, knowing that 4-man rush against an operator will not work out. Chaotic using that lockdown for retake, the classic spot, knowing that they have to be on site. Itachi taking him down. Kowalski with the res. Chaotic is back in there, and for good measure as well, because it's a 2 versus 3. With low HP, it almost feels like a 2v2, but you also gotta say that means there's 3 guns in rotation, and now it's just 1 versus 2. Bop with the op. Is he going to be able to bop him?
Bop. Top making a traffic stop. Right click hero and a dream. They've got at least 1. They want to keep the op, but they won't be able to do that. There's just not enough time. They're just gonna stand their ground, see if anyone does peek, and they realize it's over. So the 3-round lead dwindles to 1.
I just Reyna is such a powerful agent in terms of kit and utility. The blind went out onto Sova. I believe she Reyna more specifically, and her kit with the blind that just got buffed, and Bop was able to use that to such an advantage by using that blind, that eye, putting it down and just right-clicking him, right-clicking Sova. Wash Cheek was out of there, and I see a lot of Reyna's playing with and around their utility. Reyna, I believe, was the most played solo queue agent and like solo queue grinded in ranked ladder. I can speak English, yes. In the ranked ladder, it was the most picked agents. So, and for good reason, as we see here.
Yeah, there's high survivability on this agent. She can dismiss, she can be able to heal herself, and just honestly feels good to be able to work a map whenever you're going for those kill streaks. Blade is going to hold this corner. They've got the crossfire with their Sova, and now you have the retake that's going to start in progressing from garden. Ooh. I'm surprised Blade let Kowalski bop into that window, but it'll be a 4v1 fail. Try not to fail. The paranoia is going to hit them, and they're basically being hunted down. Full firing party. They will be able to make it expensive for Jamie, but they eventually just fall into the corner. Blade, again, another 4K round for him, but that was the final round of our first half. And where there was a testament to a breakaway, Team Blade caught up.
I was about to say it went from being a 3-round lead to 6-6. It is completely reset. Now, I hope, and I would hope that throughout the rest of this match, one team can break away and give us a good show. But I also understand that these teams going back and forth, and what I mean by that, a good show, I love the underdog stories. I want one team to like get 4 rounds up and then like, oh look, it's so dire, and then they just win out in crazy rounds like we just saw earlier, and catching up on a 3-round lead. It's
such a mental game when you do that.
It's hard.
Because it proves that you're not just gonna kind of suffer under this like this pit of misery. You're not just gonna let it dictate to you. You're gonna catch up. You're gonna keep trying. And I like triers. I like any triers in the chat. I hope you're all trying out there. Tailwind is up for Blade.
He's
gonna hold this corner. Oh my goodness, they're just gonna shake no at him, but they are saying yes instead. Wash check, trying to be able to check through. They actually walk through the molly, but there's a couple of guns aimed at them, and that'll be a quick wall bang through the floor.
The Omen.
As Bob takes care of him.
I was gonna say the Omen smoke. It's so sad. If you read the new patch notes, they are going to remove the Omen smokes. They're just going to fall on the ground, I believe, from now on. So no more one-ways for Omen. They fall onto the nearest surface. You're really gonna have to think ahead of time where you put. Yeah, I believe they're changing it.
Why no more one-ways? What?
It's just because it's so like, I don't know. I guess the skill ceiling's too low, and they want people to have more skill in placing them. But I personally don't understand it. Wait, let me, you know what? Now I'm pulling up the patch notes. If I'm gonna be a nerd, I gotta back up my words.
I mean, skill ceiling. Just protect your shins, forehead. Come on. Like, learn to move through smoke. Oh,
so the new patch notes are.
If you guys want to be able to check these out, make sure you go and check out Valorant online somewhere using one of your search browsers that your parents are allowing you to use, and don't turn off that adult filter. That is there for your safety.
So I believe they're changing up some stuff. Oh wait, these are the patch notes for Breach and Chamber.
Well, there's a lot of chambering and breaching, but neither of those agents are here. There's just been a lot of trades as the winning team, Team Fail, on this attack have been able to roll through the advantage. But
these are
Jamie.
These are rumored patch notes. Rumored patch notes.
Oh, it's not even real?
I mean, it's not. I don't know. It's on IGN, so that I'm gonna assume that it's at least they're trying to be somewhat real. But they're changing. I know that they're changing up. They've been talking about changing up Split. They've been talking about changing up Omen smokes, a major nerf.
I mean, they're definitely doing Split. They've posted the pictures of the changes. Yeah. I am a fan of the changes that they did to Split because I liked Split already as a map, but there's definitely a lot of hard 90-degree angles that were just too advantageous to defenders. Yeah,
but so the Omen thing is basically a Twitter leak, so I don't really know.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure exactly what that means if it's a Twitter leak. But I do know it's 2-round lead for Fail, currently up by 2, back to the game, and then back to the stuff, earlier. They're trying to take Blade out. I don't know. I feel like the fact that it's just, it'll fall down to the ground, basically. So the nearest high point that you can have. So in theory, you should be able to place it on stuff like, you could place it on Heaven, like the top of Heaven. You just need to be more thoughtful of like where and how you're doing it. Speaking of thoughtful, they really need to be thoughtful here as they're down by a player. Fail needs to ensure their continuous lead here, especially because they are down to.
You're nothing.
Oh,
it's a quick kill. Bob is able to at least get one. Team Fail, you were talking about maybe their attack is a little bit stronger than their defense. Their defense was pretty good until they surrendered too many, but now you have all of a Sova in this 3v1. That's Wash Check that's checking them down from A main. And they're trying to be able to get through this archway, maybe get a couple of kills, but the crossfire just exists. 3K for Bop, who has been non-stop so far here on this attack, and that's 3 in a row.
Bop non-stop.
Yeah, Bop non-stop. They've been rocking and rolling, and Team Blade is again on a save.
Skibbity bop boop bada. Sorry, I heard Bop, and I'm like,
Bop is a scat man.
I'm a scat
He's a scat man. Also, Bop is 20 and 6.
Well, he's living up to his name. He's living up to his name, just bopping them.
For real. Go into, what is this, round number 16. Team Fail has yet to fail, and you have the 5, or at least currently 4-man, soon to be 5-man. Is that an Ares? It is. There. Oh my god. So no save for that. Actually, rather that's the squad that doesn't have to save because Team Fail is doing really, really good, and now they're trying to be able to get rid of Itachi Claps Obito. Accurate?
Yeah. Is it accurate?
I think it's accurate.
Honestly, I feel like a fake Naruto fan because I forgot who Obito was until you said it. Like, I still kind of I think I know who it is. Isn't he
Kakashi's friend?
Yeah, okay. Okay. I thought it was, I was gonna say the dude that could get sucked into a dimension like Kakashi because he gave him his eye or Sharingan.
No, well, the Mangekyo Sharingan, I think. No, wait, is that?
Yeah,
he has that one.
He has the
Itachi has the
it's like the eternal one. He has the one that's like always active.
Yeah, Itachi has the one that's what is it? It sets you on fire and you can't put out the fire.
Yeah, that's Itachi. But then Obito has the one that you like go into a hole. He has dementia.
Yeah, he's he's an old. Well, he's got like an old man inside him, I guess.
I mean, kinda. I guess that works out. Blade lining things up. 2 away from his blades, misses the shot. Bop, knowing now that there's an operator, they're just going to push in. He's able to get Bop. I think that might be a win condition for them if they can get rid of Bop because of how much he is doing for their team. But there is a res for Kowalski. They have to do it all over again, and an Empress for Bop. If Bop can see everyone easier, it's just going to be easier for him to live up to his name. The chaos.
Look at where this bomb went to, though. They had that one poke into A, and as soon as Bop dropped, they now are going over to B, and the Empress gets popped as they actually bring him back up. Okay, so they did get the revive, and we're going to a 5v5. That is an Odin in hand, and they're trying to be able to spray down Fail. The spike is, in fact, down. They're looking to get that wall down as well. They don't expect the swing, and Chaotic takes advantage of a chaotic situation for APOC.
I mean, it's... Blade, I would hope Blade can win out. Now this is where like I wanted a team to take the lead just so then they can come back. I love seeing what teams do when they start to adapt and change their time, right? Like they're changing their play style. They're figuring out different things. They need to kill Bop, so you use an Odin. What's the best way to kill an overpowered player? You use something that literally showers you with so many bullets you cannot win out. Wash cheeks. Hopefully not wash. They double peek him. Unfortunately, in a 2v1, the power of having 2 players is just so much better. They did not line up for him. Dang. I was so hyped because I saw the Odin. I'm like, come on, come on. We're going to see some adaptations. Take Bop out. If you know, Bop lives up to his name. Bop is like one thing, right? You bop someone. And that's why he uses the op. That's why he uses those one taps, because he bops them. But then you see something like an Odin that's many bops at once, like bop, 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 bop. So here's the thing. How do you take out Bop? You do something that has like so many bops, you can't combat it with just one. Yeah, his Bop might be very powerful and your bops might be like pea shooters, but hey, if you shoot a lot of them, eventually you'll win, right?
Do you go one punch man style, or do you go mini bop pops style? It's an age-old question. It's one that Team Blade needs to figure it out.
Plants vs. Zombies, just like Bop, like pea shooter, just beep, 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 beep.
The Team Fail. Let's talk about them in totality. Leading it is Bop, but it is 5 in a row, trying to make it 6 as they only have a Stinger nearby. Looking to use that Blaze Storm. All of one, they cannot land it, so the Classic is what is in hand for Blade. And using the ADS, just not going to get you a 3-round burst sniper to connect. Fail, drops APOC, and it's a 4v3 advantage for the time being.
I think it's so hard to push in and against like Blade is doing such a good job of like they do a good job of attack. They did a really good job last time, and they did a pretty good job on some rounds taking out Bop and really pushing against them. But I think a really interesting win condition for them is also being comfortable with pulling back further than they have. They pulled back a little bit, but they don't. I feel like if they pulled back even more, which might sound like, oh, you're giving up space, but that's the thing. They're taking a lot of space. Let them take the space. Let them post up. That's when they can start getting a bit complacent. And once they start spreading out, Team Fail, that's when Blade can take advantage of them. Itachi gets caught off guard though, and people are pushing up. They saw that Sova ultimate as we get into match point.
Well, it is down to this. You take 6v6 in the first half, now 6 in a row. Team Fail. They just need all of one. Team Blade, they did save for the most part in the previous round, and they will see, what, 2 Odins and Vandals. With a few ults, they do have at least 1 revive, a null command, and a from the shadows if they want to redirect and re-traverse this map. But it is a bit of an uphill climb, a mountain to climb. Team Fail seems destined to get into our finals here for the first skirmish of 2023, and it's all up to them, their dictation as to how successful they're going to be.
I'm just looking at the map currently, trying to figure out, like, they've put so much pressure on tree. It's really easy for Fail to just take that tree. So maybe gamble stacking A if they see someone mid, like rotating off there, or even giving it up like they are now. I mean, both strategies work out for them. If they can give it up and be like, hey, you guys take tree really well, we could just stall them out like KO is, just using the grenade. That works out so well for them. But I think that Fail kind of understands it, and that's why they're like, you know what? We don't have to go here. APOC is doing a really good job with these Grim Walls, but I don't think it works out for them right now.
You're going to have to prove that this burst will be slowed. But look at this. It is a two-man kind of pressure situation at those key points of both garden and outside of A main, whereas 3 are running over to B. You have all of Sova, who's gonna have to make the call out. They're gonna have to receive it. That is one going down as they do body check it. That's gonna be Bop and Kowalski getting big value. There's not enough time to re-hit, so they're just gonna have to run it down. It's a 4v3. This one's for Team Blade to continue, but it's Wash check that never gets checked. They're able to find 2 off of the Odin, and now it's a 2v3 in advantage to the defenders. Team Blade has a chance.
Let's go. Oh no, the lockdown. Bop is right there. He's going to give him a bop of the century with the knife. Osmo gets the plant down. It's hot. She's trying to even things out. It's a 1 versus 1. 2 ultimates on both sides. I believe Osmo, I mean, hey, if Osmo gets caught off guard here, that's going to be really bad for them. Is blind. Itachi making way for them. A visual glitch on my end. I don't know what it was, but we saw him with the Vandal in hand. But that is going to be a little bit of room for Team Blade to hopefully start making it their way towards overtime, getting their progress higher. And in the chat, I believe there was a goose that was placed in the chat. Pixel art goose.
That was a beautiful goose. Look at that goose.
Quack, quack.
Everyone. That's a duck.
Oh.
What? What are you doing? It's honks.
Quack, honk. Quack, honk, bark, meow.
It is full Animal House out here. Good book. Read that.
I'm not an animal. You know, I'm not a zoologist. I don't animals. You animals? I just make noises. I make noises and onomatopoeias for different animals.
Boom, bang, quack. That is a duck going out there.
Well, you know how we have bark in English, we bark bark. In Russian, it's goff goff. So it's like there's different onomatopoeias for every single thing. So who knows? Maybe honk, honk, goose, quack.
For some people, it's boof.
Boof.
You have like an old dog. APOC hide behind this wall. They'll be able to drop the spike, but they will get taken out by Bop as another trade. It's constant back and forth. Candy Cane down the kill feed in a 1v3 Team Blade with, again, Itachi, Collapse Obito being the last one alive. They have to have a hero moment. Chaotic is covering the door out of Marketplace, and the Sky Smoke is set to disappear. It will dissipate, and so will the hope. No, Chaotic has all of a few HP, but that's all they need. 3K and in the day. 13-7. Team Fail moves on to the finals.
I mean, they tried really well. It was just too hard to go up against and play against Chaotic living up to their name. They caused a lot of chaos going on to site. APOC's Sage Walls, I thought they were pretty cool. I thought the APOC Sage Walls were really cool because, you know, Grim is always such an influential influencer. That's why, oh wow, that's why they call, wow. Imagine influencers.
You've learned.
Wow. Oof. The more you know, but all jokes aside, both teams played really well, especially in that first half, going back and forth and neck and neck. But when sides switch, so do team lineups and matchups. And, you know, sometimes it becomes super hard to play against a team that just is so good at attack, especially with players like Bop, who can just take a lot of space and absolutely bop every single player they come in contact to.
They brought the hammer, they bopped them down, and they've been able to knock us over into the finals. Before we get there, we're going to take a short break. The Goose House is going to be showing you the uppers and the upper limit of that. You be with us on the other side of this one. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Hold on, bear with. I've got more things to Science Break, such as music. But it's fine. What else can break today? We send that out through there in theory now. rebooting broadcast stream mix. My mic is currently going to it. That's unfortunate. If we send music out through there. Uh. Alright.
sister, can you see our light guide us home? We'll paint the sky with our energy, so they can see us from outer space. Through the dark we will radiate. They're gonna see us from outer space. All the faces in this ocean come together, making memories in motion. We're the traces of the chosen. Let's come together with a heart wide open. A generation of renegades. We don't have to stay alone. So brother, sister, find your spaceship and let it take you home. We'll paint the sky with our energy, so they can see us from outer space. Through the dark we will radiate. They're gonna see us from outer space. They're gonna see us from outer brother, sister, star drifters. We're the traces of the chosen. We'll paint the sky with our energy, so they can see us from outer space. Through the dark we will radiate. They're gonna see us from outer space. So they can see us from. We'll paint the sky with our. So they can see us from. So they can see us from outer space.
I need another story, something to get off my chest. My life gets kinda boring, need something that I can confess. Till all my sleeves are stained red from all the truth that I said. Come by it honestly, I swear. Thought you saw me wink, no, I've been on a break. So tell me what you want to hear, something that'll light those ears. Sick of all the insincere, I'm gonna give all my secrets away. This time, don't need another perfect lie. Don't care if critics ever jump the line. I'm gonna give all my secrets away. can you pray, pray tonight? Baby, can you pray, pray for us? Oh, baby, can you pray? 'Cause every time you make time, it's only to the end. So pray tonight. So you won't know, yeah. For every run that we had, just turn around and not know it. But I'll be ready every day. Know everything's alright. Are you gonna pray? Are you gonna pray tonight? Baby, pray, pray, pray for me and for us. Baby, pray, pray, pray for me and for us. Baby, pray, pray, pray for me and for us. Gotta pray, pray, pray for me and for us. Baby, pray, pray, pray for me and for us. Baby, pray, pray, pray for me and for us. Baby, can you pray, pray tonight? Baby, can you pray, pray for us? Oh, baby, can you pray? 'Cause every time you make time, it's only to the end. So pray tonight.
I live a life without a meaning. I live a life without sense. Once you've opened up my eyes, I started healing and made me find another chance. So I tried to survive all the pain inside my mind.
Time for a final. We're getting ready for our first final of 2023. It's the Uppers Skirmish. I'm still Hail Monkey Man, and of course, that is still Nerd's Corner, and you guys are still looking pretty darn cute as we get ready for Team Fail versus Team Silent. So, I need to know, nerds, we're going into what is our quintessential 3-site map before the new one gets loaded this week. What do you think that Haven's going to be left in the dust after everyone starts loving on Lotus?
No way. There is no shot that Haven is going to just be dropped. If anything, I feel like a lot of content creators and players will have gripes with Lotus, especially right off the bat. I know that Riot has this weird tendency to release overpower agents right at the start, or just completely non-usable. Like Harbor, they needed to buff him. Yoru was absolutely like, he was broken for like 5 days, until people realized, oh, that's how you use his utility. Avoid it.
Yeah.
Don't matter. Like the footsteps mean nothing. You see, you just basic. You got nothing. And same thing with Lotus. I don't think that it's going to be right off the bat a replacement for Haven, but I do think that later down the line, people will prefer Lotus over Haven and Haven over Lotus. I feel like there will be a community consensus, like, hey, maybe like one team, like, you know, G2, Sentinels. I just thought of those because they had drama. 100 Thieves. There we go. That's not drama. 100 Thieves, Cloud9. Who else is franchised? I believe Evil Geniuses. So the franchise team specifically in North America and EMEA, EMEA and where else is there? APAC? Yes, EMEA, yes. APAC. And NA. I think those regions will start to develop their own styles. Like maybe NA enjoys this Haven, whereas maybe EMEA has really good Lotus tech, for example. I think that because of it, there will be dichotomy and people will have a side, but I don't think they will just leave Haven off in the dust. They can't, bro. It's the first map, or one of the quintessential maps. I think if I was to say the second quintessential map, I would say it goes Ascent, Haven, Binder, Breeze. You could argue for both because both are kind of hated, and they're both hated, but in different ways. And they're both hated and loved in different ways. Like they're loved in different ways and hated in different ways. So I feel like that you can argue for one of those being the third quintessential map of Valorant.
I could see that. Plus, it just doesn't make any sense, especially because Haven seems thematic and connected to a map like Lotus. I mean, the other one, it was based on unlocks from the I guess the artifact that is being held by Harbor. So shout out, he's finally useful for something.
Yo, let's go!
Though it took Astra seeing into the Nether Realm and the Void to actually get any of that to actually work. But we go on to Haven. Kowalski is traded out from that Battle Sage over instead to Chamber. So a strong and, you know, currently up for debate pick. Chaotic switch from Killjoy over.
Strong.
He is, but it's at this point he's still strong, but it's a matter of learning it. This is going to be a testament to how much time and practice Kowalski has put into some of those changes that did happen to Chamber.
I think that Astra is still super underrated. I don't know why so many people kind of threw her off to the side. I think that if you have a good Astra, you can still dominate a game. Maybe not on a map like Haven. It's a little too big for her. But I think on some smaller maps, maybe even, let's say, Bind. You know, we talked about Bind earlier. I think she's still really useful. I don't know why people are starting to, like, they consistently were like, oh, you can't use her anymore. Just because she's harder to use doesn't necessarily mean that she's not as good. Now, you can argue that maybe they can reduce some of her increase some of her cooldowns just a bit, or like reduce them so then they are faster by like a touch more, so then you can get that utility back faster. But realistically, I feel like it's relatively fair considering how many smokes are available and all of her utility other than smokes, how powerful it can be for post-plant situations. I feel like the post-plant meta is going to, I would hope that it can rise up to a degree. Like at some point we have a good post-plants with Killjoy and Astra. I've seen in lower and in higher elo people trying to utilize that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Astra more. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Killjoy more. I hope we see Astra more also, because I just want it.
Look at this priority. Oh, Bop is able to get at least the first kill, the first blood, rather second blood, as they do take out their doppelganger as the Jet v Jet action happens on a banana. But you're going to have Benny that puts down the cyber cage. Oh, they're not ready for it. And yet they were. Benny doing good work as Chaotic couldn't take down a slippery Cypher. The cyber cage comes up. We'll give audio intel if Kowalski wants to jump through. It will drop down and they don't get the exit.
Silent.
Oh my goodness.
Silent redacted.
Silent. But is in fact deadly, and they've taken over Garage, and this first pistol looking pretty easy. Well, not easy, but a good adjustment by Silent.
I mean, that's the thing. This is where I would say this is a hybrid of both Breeze and Ascent, where you can rotate, but it's all like it's got these long corridors. You can still rotate off of them. Long corridors working in favor right now for Silent, as they just need to defend that spike. I don't think that Haven will go out. Like I don't see a world where Haven is completely just thrown off to the side and forgotten about, only because of how many lineups I would say there are for Fade, Sova, you know, Killjoy, Brimstone, the lineup Larrys, the Instalock Cyphers, the memers that just play these niche characters like Yoru. Like there's so much tech on this map that I do not think that people will just completely forget about it. I will say at some point Lotus will win out, only because of the hype and popularity of like, oh my god, a new map, new you know, new gimmicks, new things.
Yeah, and that's true. That took a little bit to do for the comfort level to raise when it came to Pearl. Osmo will not be able to be a right-click hero onto Rinsda. I believe it's Rinsda. But
I know some people that still hate Pearl.
Pearl has become one of my favorites. I love navigating through that mid traversal, and you have this 2v3 retake that's gonna hit, and what a great stagger for the Cyber Cages. I love that Cypher got reworked since beta to now, has been able to do well, and they do get the dink. It's not enough to sink Benny. That's a 3K for Benny, in fact, and that will finish out this round. I started making predictions, or asking for predictions, when I was doing a little bit of extra collegiate casting as to which map will go. I got it right with quite a few when it came to Bind. In the far future, think a year from now, which ones go away to maybe bring Bind or Breeze back?
Breeze is going away too?
Yes, they're both going away.
No!
Yeah.
Oh,
Split comes back.
That makes more sense.
Yes,
now.
Bind and Breeze are gone. Split comes back, and Lotus is the new 7th. Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying that I don't. The top 3, you know, Bind and Breeze are very, like, I feel like they're kind of quintessential to Valorant. So it's sad to see them go. They're both hated and loved, but I think Fracture is gonna stay for a little bit too, just because of how I think Fracture is gonna stay. Not only because of how like it might be hated, but it's also really powerful. The knife coming out near the end, taking out Bop. 2 versus 3. Silence still trying to keep their lead even through all the chaos. Speaking of their lead, they have the Empress available for them, but Chaotic is right there. The crosshair placement, perfect. Silent Poo, just quicker to the draw. And now, I mean, just as the chaos started, there was a 3 versus 2, and it's now short end of the stick for Osmo and Team Fail. And I got confirmation from Prod, me and you both did, that Osmo was in fact in the lowers and now is in the upper. So this is his chance to prove himself. Is he deserving of this spot? I think he is, but Silent swings out. Oh, unfortunate. I love the stories, right? Like from lower to up.
Yeah, I like the ascension, the rise to greatness, but I also love seeing good execution as Silent, who is 8-1 right now, already has their Empress and is set and ready to use it if they really need to. This is going to be another 3-in-a-row round rush, so there will be a save for the likes of Team Fail, who was able to do this in the last half of their fight against their previous semifinal opponent. Now, going into this, Osmo, there's a little bit to prove, but often whenever you rise in the ranks, you get that aggression and confidence moving around someone else's intel. Instead of abating back from it, you push up into it, and they're just not ready for that.
They're waiting, trying to catch someone off guard. They do. Osmo does an amazing job. I was gonna, man, very tough situation there. Silent is just holding and dominating their lead. And I remember Team Fail, when they switched off from defense to attack, they did a really good job. So I would hope that when Team Fail switches, it will see a different side of them. But they do need to win at least a couple of rounds on the defending half. They're just gonna need to find their groove. And I think that their groove is going to be for this retake, as we see Bop doing an amazing job slowly executing onto the site.
A little bit sad that we don't get the non-stop Bop cop putting the no fun police to work against Team Silent, because they were so good on Reyna, but they decided to trade out over to the Jet, which is kind of a weird duo ski that's happened over there. And I say ski because of Kowalski also being in kind of that operator mindset. So Bop there to create space, but they did so good on that Reyna when it came to Ascent. And you know, Reyna supremacy right now is working out, and who else to be supreme than the Empress herself, who's yet to use the Empress at this point. Still 10-1. Silent just looking so good.
Silent in their team, I wouldn't be surprised if they take a lot of the rounds in this half, because on attack they're gonna be really good. I'm just worried about defense and how it works out for them. We see some sneaky plays coming out from Chaotic, but it doesn't work out. They get caught off guard. Benny F15. Oh, unfortunate souls. The Osmo coming out with the Hunter's Fury, but it doesn't work out. The trades going for your equal, getting caught off guard. It looks like almost a flawless. I literally, like, it comes out of my lips in the second they like leave it, like it's like a ghost, like a ethereal. It comes out and boom, it's not a flawless because a player dies. I'm sorry, Team Silent. I truly apologize.
It was almost, but you had the word almost primed. Look, there was one extra in the chamber, and you're like, almost. It's just
almost,
comma, almost, bang.
Stings. Like putting iodine on a wound. It's like, ooh.
That hurts. No.
That stings. It feels weird.
Yeah.
Iodine smells.
It does. There was, what was it? Shout out to me being old. Whenever, way back in 07, when I was doing engineering class, I was making a potato gun for a engineering class, because yes, that's what we do in the South.
Want me to blow your mind?
I know. And I was using an iodine-based PVC glue, and that stuff got me so messed up. And it was in a condensed room, and I nearly passed out. I was like, why do I feel funny? You should not do that, kids. Never do that.
Dash living up to his name. I was gonna say you want your mind. Ooh, Fail takes him out. I was gonna say mind boggled. I was like 4 years old in 2007. Oh, going crazy. Osmo's able to get multiple for his team. Fail might be coming back here. Their slow methodical play. I was talking about how, hey, maybe they should play for retake, but I think that they finally found their groove on the site. It isn't just yet. Benny F15, he's going to try and take this away from them. Please don't. Osmo pushing them away, but there is that second. He knows exactly where Bop is. Bop, is he going to live up to his name? Bippity boppity boo! Fail wins out. Yoo-hoo. I don't know, I just wanted to make it rhyme, but they were able to do it.
Sent Benny F15 crashing like a jet straight to the ground, exploding and giving Team Fail their first round win. Able to stop the first half of the first half from all going to Team Silent. Team Fail will not fail at least getting a round, but they've got to start rocking and rolling with a little bit better.
Rocking around.
It was pretty. Hey, look, we're out of the holidays. Stop that. No,
remember when we were singing?
No more of that until, was it Christmas in July, summer? I'll allow that then, but like for 2 days, maybe 3. Just too many.
Face your fear.
Much time, much energy.
Yes. Nightfall cometh. Everyone else will be running it down as well. That is a Bucky that is primed. It's doing a lot of damage, but still only able to get at least one. Shorties in hand, big shotguns. That was an expensive defensive win for Team Fail, and because of that, they're going to have to rely on their sick sense of skills to be able to get themselves another round, because the plant is down. You're going to have one out in garage. Trade is there with a ghost, but Fail's going to have to kill him with a shorty from distance.
I mean, shorties are the snipers of the West, right?
Not ready yet.
No. Debatable.
I was at the stinger. Everything's a sniper if you think about it, just different reactions. TP's in. Unfortunately, it doesn't help. It's just, they're all on site. They're already ready, but I believe that was their save, considering they didn't have that much money. But hey, I mean, it's 6. They still have some room. Fail can still come back. As long as they win, I believe Fail can win a couple of rounds here, like 4 or 5. Actually, sorry, not 4 or 5. They can win, I would say about 3 more, meaning that they get 4 total. I think that they can win, like, have a really solid chance of winning it out in the second half. And I say this because it was 6-6, and Fail, when they came back, Fail was capable of just dominating their attack half. They did such a good job on attack.
It was off of big Bop Reyna play. Bop is actually at the top of this double box stack here into garage, and they're not going to be pressing out as the Cypher is hanging out there as well. But this seems to be a B lurk by a majority of the team. Cypher starts to swing. Benny's going to see those legs, but it's going to see the chest cavity opened up by Bop. They are a doctor. They're operating, and it's on an open table. That is a flat line for Benny. That's first blood.
4 players left for Silent. They have the ultimates they need to hopefully secure the round. Fail goes. It's trying to catch them off guard, trying to slow them down, but they've been kind of pinpointed, cornered. It doesn't matter though. They're able to win out against them. Silent doing an amazing job. They get a 3K. There's one player left. Fail. Kowalski, are you going to live up and against your name? You can't live up to your name now. You need to defuse. Tap the spike. You know where Dash is. Peeking out. That's one more player left. Check your corners. RNZ Da gets him. R&D, research and development is a very fun place to be.
I honestly thought you were starting with like some kind of like Russian R&Z Da.
I'll start bringing. Oh man, I should. A couple of a couple of funky drinks in, drinking some water that's not water.
Just water.
And then you just only water. A couple of those waters later, you'll start hearing me singing in Russian, like I'm just gonna be singing here. Give me a plate of meat and like some pickles and stuff. Oh, he's gonna spawn. Oh wait, my brain. I thought those were enemies. I was like, he's gonna spawn in. I got too focused on the pickles. Too focused on Russian food. Back to the game. Back to the game. It's 7-1. Fail is currently in a tense situation.
Zion in the chat has said they will get one, and that is all they get. That is a fact. Right now, that fact stands as truth. RNZ Da is going to put a smoke between them and a rough place in garage, but there is at least a flank happening from down long C as well, as they will be taking on at least a few. The Blaze Storm comes through, but doesn't get much more, as the Empress is just able to get the spray down. Nice wall bang, and can't quite claim much off of the Marshall. Don't have to, don't want to. Silent gets a 3K. 8-1. They need those 4 rounds. The 3 more. They need that so bad right now, nerds. You said they could at least get that, and maybe their attack would be good.
So.
But Silent is executing 17-4.
I still hold out hope that when we switch sides, it works out, and that Zion isn't accurate in the chat. I just think that on attack, they did so well executing onto sites. On defense, they're doing a really, they won the site by gamble stacking a site and just being really good on that defense. So maybe trying to do that again, gamble stack, and then retake fully will work out for them. Like if they gamble stack A and they don't peek aggressively at all, they just hold off. Just like, man, I'm chilling. Might work for them.
Bob was got really aggressive. Cypher was just basically hanging out. You can stare through the camera as long as you want, and they immediately get to use that as well onto the neural theft, and they will be able to see it. But Osmo at least gets RNZ Da. Will say RNZ Da goodbye. That is a double kill by Chaotic, and so it turns into a 2v3 with the defense advantage, and trying to hop away, not gonna let it go. 3K for Chaotic. Fail finds Silence, stops their reign of terror. That's the first of 4, or second of 4.
I mean, the hero player, right? They lost their Jet, who peeked out. I believe, yeah, they lost Bop, who was peeking out really aggressively. And I don't know. I thought it was comeuppance. We're about to see 1-9 because it's just hard. It's just difficult when you've lost some players and you really have to prioritize the site. It's like, how is that going to play out? And the neural theft comes out. It's like, they're just securing this round even more. But then big plays from Chaotic, who's able to get, I believe, a 3-piece for themselves and then 4 at the end. But regardless, it was honestly, I think, Chaotic carry right there, being able to take the aggression where they needed it to. Again, we see Chaotic popping out, but the trade is there, so it's still even out. But considering you're losing a Sentinel, I don't know how good of a trade that was.
No, it's not the greatest, but it is at least a 1-to-1. You do have the numbers advantage, as Silent does get stymied and stunted on their attack for now. The bomb does exist in the hands of their Cypher over in the back corner, so there's not a lot of movement to try and get that one far and away. They want to get this off a default, but Kowalski will end Silent again, so this becomes a doubled up difficulty. RNZ Da. If that's not their name, then they need to tell us otherwise, because that's just a fun thing to say. You get the audible intel. The TP exists. You get the dark cover. You get even more. They will be able to get him off the teleport, and that is Kowalski taking care of business again.
Ooh,
it's another Sentinel with a 3K, and that is Team Fail 1 away from
Zion.
At least your condition.
Zion, remember how you said one person wins out? Like, oh, they're only getting this one. Hey, I mean, They're going for the 3-piece, and I say this: if they can win this round, they have some momentum. That's going to help their mental games up. They're going on to the side that they like. They're not being on the side that they're not comfortable with, and they got the better draw, right? Because they're better on attack, so they got the draw in the fact that they're starting on defense, ending on attack. They have a positive mental. They have the side that they want. This might become a spicier game. If Silent can't put up a good defense, Fail might just make a comeback, a reverse sweep, a bibbity bop. I don't know. They're gonna come back. They're gonna do some cool stuff.
A side. Oh, Fail. Actually, from the top of that double box stack is actually going to renegotiate, get himself out of the corner, out of harm's way, and there's not very much health left in the back end of Dash. They know that they put a bunch of bullets in their body. It's just about making one extra. All they had to do was spray, and this is all of the Fade left alive. Alcan, we've not been able to call out as of recent because they've been more of a support hero to the rest of the gang. This had one death. Osmo just got revived. It's a 5v1 in the final round. This 4-8 looks very, very reasonable, very possible here in all of a moment.
Removed. My ult is ready.
Ooh. But hey, I mean, Alcan, we haven't seen too many plays coming out from them, but they might be able to come back. That one way goes out. Bob tries to get him. Alcan peeks off. Come on, 4-8. They were able to get 3. So whether it's caster curse or prediction, it works out.
Zion, I'm sorry that I caster cursed you. As soon as I saw it in the chat and I said it out loud, then all the Valorant gods, they nodded in unison, crossed their arms, they did the genie bop, and, well, there's 3 more rounds. So, sorry about you, but it is a 4-8. Now, you said that they're better on attack. It's a bit arguable. I think that, obviously, they were when it came to executing when it was on Ascent. Team Silent looked such like a squad that's ready to press because they have the Nightfall that comes out from Fade, and they have the double duelist that can create a lot of space, especially with Silence as well. Well, Dash kind of was more of an accessory. So Cypher's going to be tough to work around. Not impossible. Depends on when they're set up, and it looks like we got trips and cams in Garage, but this is all of a C main long hit because, you know, it's pistols.
Bob going onto site. We saw them do amazing job on entry with Reyna, but Benny takes them down. Alcan, I hope I'm saying that correctly, is doing an amazing job themselves, as now there's only 1 player left for Fail. They are able to methodically catch him off guard, find him, hunt them down. And that is another round for Silent as they're starting to win things out. You did this, you jinxed this. Haha. I am the villain in the story, Zion. But, you know, as much of a villain as I am, Silent did just win out on defense. So, hey, maybe your channel points are safe considering they have a 5-round lead again.
Yeah, that's true. And they're probably set to do that again. They were so good on just taking that advantage and running with it, getting 5 in the first bit of that half, and they need 4, so a little bit less. Actually, it will be the same amount to take the first 5. They got a couple marshals in hand. Dash is waiting for anyone up in mid. It's a full crush rush over into Garage and try and take control. Alcan is looking to make the swing, but instead they're going to have to bring it with a ghost, and they are getting studded out by the recon bolts, so there's not much they can do. Dash is trying to get up behind him with a frenzy.
Spike planted.
Thrifty. I don't know. I can't do the girl voice, so I'm just gonna go thrifty. But hey, I mean, it is
the Halo voice.
Silent. The Halo voice. No. I still have to play through all the Halo games. Kowalski finds out Dash. There's 1 player left. We see the Thrifty. Hey, I'm just on point today with all my predictions, or maybe not even predictions. Maybe they're just caster blessings. I bless thee, children of Fail. You shall not fail here today. I hope not, at least. Oh, the big bop gun is coming out for Kowalski. Oh no, they're not going with the big bop gun.
No big bop gun.
No big bop gun.
No BFG. Okay, or
Ooh.
I guess it'd be BBG. Okay.
What does BFG stand for?
We can't say one of the words.
Okay, I was correct. I was like, it's one of those words not Twitch appropriate.
Well, it can happen on Twitch, but you only get banned for 3 days if it happens. So that goes to different clips. You guys should not look up getting around the parent filter. The Omen is stuck in the back end. Look at this aggression. You have the defense of Silent coming all the way up into spawn side, and all of that was identified because they left the Omen behind, and now they have to fight him off as they funnel up into C long. This is just classics in hand. They're trying to be able to save up for later so they can be able to have power for now.
My boy Silent is a sweat. Impossible to lose. Well, we'll have to see how it works out for them because they are currently on the shorter end of the draw, but thrifties can happen in both ways. I don't know. It didn't show up there, but I would count that as a thrifty considering they were on a worse off. Didn't they have like pistols or anything? Yeah, okay, yeah, there we go. I was getting in my own head too much. It is a thrifty round for them, and it's again another 5-round lead. Every single time Fail wins a round or tries to get an advantage, Silent is right there to combat against them. And as much of a positive mental that Team Fail had at the end, that momentum can slow down and stagger. They can start getting into their own heads, not being as confident, not being as aggressive with what they need to be taking because they're on attack. Bop, go in there. Kowalski, use that sort of force. Absolutely wreck them. You kind of have to be, I don't know, you gotta have to have an ego, right? If you don't have an ego as a player, I don't know, it becomes really difficult to keep consistently high mental, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's more accurate.
I would say so. And because of that kind of death ball attack, it was because they only had classics and they were saving into it and got the thrifty. You see the slowness of how this execute is going forward. The fade doesn't stick around over into mid to see the rotation of Kowalski, but they are going to go down long A. And this is a hard setup because they're going to run straight into the tripwires that have been put down off of the Cypher. But Alcan does, in fact, find the back end of Kowalski as they aggress into, and that'll be the identification. They do X-ray vision him, and that's Benny that grabs another. They have the neural theft, and they're going to be able to see where all those numbers exist. They're going to see both pings out in A. Cyber Cage comes down. Oh, that would have been so clean, but running away with their life is Fail. They're going to do a 1v4 before this becomes 2 rounds left to live.
I mean, it is going to be really hard, but I think Cypher without a hat, that's just goober behavior. You can't win out against that. Okay, Benny goes down. Cypher, when he has no hat, it's just you know, he goes from being like this cool, like kind of cool, to a thumb. He looks like
he's just one of the thumb people from was it Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
Spy Family.
Yeah.
Or sorry, Spy Family's an anime. Spy Kids.
Spy
I know
Kids.
exactly
That's true.
what
That's
you're
right.
talking about.
Yeah, it's the same
love
director.
Spy Kids.
I think it's the same director, right? Like did that.
I believe so.
Yeah,
100%.
Lots of CGI.
I wonder.
You want to
So
play?
all the folks over here in the UK, do you guys have like? I'm assuming you do like Spy Family or Spy Kids. I'm sorry, I'm a weeb. I'm a weeb. I just Spy Kids and Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
They might, but right now there's no need for spying. Benny's able to make short work of Bop, and it's just been no ability to really get good value out of these positions. Kowalski's just getting shot. They scope in. They weren't there. 12-5.
Tunnel vision.
Oh boy, it's rough. You put your eyeball down scope. He's already wearing like Chamber wears glasses, right? He's got those glasses on? Yeah. So you're already 4 eyes, which I think they're just for fashion. They might be fake. And then he's scoped in. You don't realize you're just getting right clicked, and it's match point. This is bracket point. This is for some flying with wings, some good old Red Bull that each of these players are gonna be able to get. And Silent just looks far too deadly.
I always forget that these tournaments are for not just for Pride, but also for Red Bull. But I don't know which is more important. I would say 100% Pride. I want to win.
I'd say Red Bull. I need that like every day of my life, all the time.
Honestly, though, I agree 100%. Energy drinks are the lifeblood of esports, and honestly, thank you again to, I would say thank you to Red Bull and thank you to Goose House for having everything happen here, but we're not, I was like preparing for the end, like, oh, thank you everyone for coming, oh, it was very good, but it's not even over. Oh my gosh, we just went from a 4v2 to a 2v2. Kowalski's looking for the clip.
Oh my god.
I was about to say
A gift.
okay, it might be over. It might be over? Is it?
Rendezvous set up. Kowalski's nearby. They are inspecting their origin vandal. Can they be able to? Oh, here it comes though, and they will be able to get at least one. Kowalski around the corner. Do you see him in time? The thumb doesn't kill you.
He doesn't. Bro, when he doesn't have a hat, every single time I see Cypher without a hat, I've never seen them survive. They always get domed. It's just so easy. It's something about the shape. It's like, oh, it's a target. It's Aim Lab's target. Like, you know exactly where they are.
Well, you know, the majority, you know that you get armor in this game. All the armor for Cypher is in that
And it's the hat. It's in the hat.
Yeah.
It's in the hat. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's why he's so weak after. Just nothing.
Yeah, he's just not powerful. You can't use him.
Hat game on point. Unless it's not on your head.
No hats.
No hat.
You gotta get hats.
Hat stack while you can. And they at least get one. Team Fail hasn't failed, at least in this current bracket. You're gonna see if they can continue this run. They have to make it a long one. Silent. Without Cam, they're holding down long C, and there's at least a little bit of pressure, but there's also a little bit of a do-si-do hanging out between on short or long A, as you have one waiting to aggress. But this is all of a default. Who can be that first kill, that first blood that allows them some entry into one of these sites?
Well, I mean, it's match point for Silent right now, and Fail, they know this. They're going to be really pushing forward, really waiting. Also, Zion, the first time I watched it through, I was terrified. Grew to love it. Sharkboy and Lava Girl. Fair enough. I like Sharkboy and Lava Girl was a pretty big part of my childhood. Same thing with Spy Kids, not family. I always keep messing that up. And Lazy Town too. Interesting.
I watch a lot of Lazy Town.
Yeah. Oh, they're getting caught off guard. It's still anyone's game. 3-3, 2 ultimates for Fail. Now only two, still 2 ultimates for Fail. It's not the same numbers of people. Tap goes out. There's that ultimate. They're baiting it out. And baiting it out early. They don't want to lose it out.
You have close quarters proximity, but that's going to be all of one player remaining. They're going to be able to sacrifice. They have the angle, and they've got the win.
They know.
The defuse comes through. Alcan gets a 4K, and that's Team Silent.
Defenders win.
They'll be able to take this first upper skirmish of 2023. Goose House find themselves a winner. Nerds Corner, we find ourselves a dominant feature.
Yeah.
It felt like it was in control for Team Silent from the very first few rounds.
Well, earlier we saw Team Fail absolutely dominate their game and push forward against them. And then unfortunately here, it didn't work out the same way. I just love the stories that we see here. Osmo going from a lower bracket into the upper brackets and going and growing here in the Goose House and these weekly skirmishes to really help you, rewatch the VODs, right? See where you might have missed something, do some VOD reviews, really learn and educate yourself on this game and become better each day, each step they push forward. So to both teams and to everyone on the production staff and to everyone who was watching, thank you guys all so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's, of course, Tex is leading the prod, as well as Lou with the observation, and Ryan, who was able to force us to be in this booth for a long amount of time. And if you guys want to be involved in more of these skirmishes, make sure to check out the Goose House. We have there's a whole bunch of these that happen every single Monday, every single week for the entirety of the year, unless something big gets in the way. These guys do a lot of fantastic events, be it these skirmishes or more. So check them out. Go to the Discord, go to the Twitter, go to literally anything that's a goose and a house. I think some of them may exist out in the wild. They even have some anime merch that's coming up, and I
saw it.
I'm so
my
excited.
God, I'll just have that shipped over here to the states, as they say, the states. But it's cool. It looks really cool. I don't know. It just looks the United States of America, USA. All I know is that I want some of it. It looks. I hope that they just pull it up and show it. It just looks so cool.
Yeah, it does. Well, you guys will be able to check out all of that and more if you do join up into this fantastic community. But for tonight or this afternoon, wherever you reside in the world, it could be morning for you. We're done for now. I'm Hale Monkey Man. You can find me at Hale_Monkey Man on Twitter. That is Nerds Corner. It's Nerds Corner
Nerds Corner Cast. Nerds Corner Cast.
Yeah.
Hey, they always take the original ads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So either way, if you guys want to be able to check us out, there it is. Yes! Oh my God. Hold on.
Yeah, cover our faces up. Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, I don't know if this is
wrong way.
I have no idea if this is going to be like
This
3
is so
separate
cool.
shirts, but I want to know what inspired the upper and lower characters. Obviously,
They
the
look so cool.
Goose Gang in the middle. That's gonna be
It
like
looks so cool.
yeah, that's gonna be like a hat and a shirt, I swear. But make sure you get some of this. You're missing out if you don't get it. But that's gonna be in the spring collection. You guys are hanging out with us for the winter. But for right now, we'll see you next time. Come back onto the Goose House. You guys have a great evening.
But nothing comes out. I am looking for the better days. Seem like they just stay away whenever I try. There's so many things that I keep in my mind. My friends keep me out and it hurts every time. With all the emotions I built up inside, oh why can't I? Will someone look for me if I disappear? No matter how much that I scream, nobody hears. But I see the light from far away, it's down the line. Maybe I should not give up without a fight. Cause there will be a time. Oh, 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 oh. There will be a time. Oh, 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 oh. There will be a time. Sitting lonely in my room again, acting like I'm innocent. Why do I try? Cause now I'm feeling like a fool again, thinking I can fool myself by telling me lies. When there's so many things that I keep in my mind, I hang around people I don't even like. If they can be happy and walk with a smile, oh why can't I? Will someone look for me if I disappear? No matter how much that I scream, nobody hears. But I see the light from far away, it's down the line. Maybe I should not give up without a fight. Cause there will be